Well, it looks like here we are, we're moving into the third year, and we have 2 years that have gone by, and this would be obviously the State of the City address for the new year, where we're at and what we'd like to accomplish. I very seldom read from the document, but so my staff was all done. They had so many things that we've accomplished, I said, I'll never remember them all. So if I could, I'll follow this by guideline, but I'll share with you my thoughts as we go along. The most important thing about this agenda and about this talk today, we all know what the problems are in the city of Reading. We know what needs to be done and what should be done. But first, I didn't realize that the President of the City Council is here, Jeff Waltman. And my whole policy has always been positive change, positive change, positive change. In our first year, obviously, along with City Council, we certainly fought on human rights, where we wanted to. I must tell you this, I was just at Judge Wall's funeral this morning, and I had to get over there and say a couple of things, and life goes by too fast, way too fast. And when you look back, you realize how insignificant you can possibly be when you're leaving here. And speaking about Judge Hall, when I was there, I was thinking about all the good people he saw and the good people that had helped him. And those are sort of like the traditions we're trying to do here in City Hall with your family running government, okay? Because we are part of the people of the City of Reading. And I always try to say to people that I'm not here, I don't serve the government, I basically serve you. I represent you in government. I don't follow what government policies are on necessarily everything. I try to get the job done. And so far for 2 years, we've done pretty good with that. We have an excellent president of City Council, like I said, that has been very supportive of keeping council together and getting our agenda moved. And some things we don't get past, but we just set it aside. No reason to get mad about it. We'll just bring it up another day, and in the hopes that everybody feels a little different about something, and we can move forward. The human rights issue obviously was, and I see Dr. Min here from the school district, was a lot to do with, and Tom from the parking authorities here, back there. If anybody's forgotten, we were looking at, and I still work with the school district to keep parents out of jail for their children not going to school. I don't think that that's a jailable offense, and it's a victimless crime. And we've done our best possibly to get more programs that the school district is doing to keep people more intense on staying in school and wanting to do things. With the parking authority, we basically, while everybody said, hey, nay, you can't do this, you can't make it civil as opposed to criminal. And when you saw the 1,700 and some people in the course of a couple of years were locked up in jail for parking tickets, a lot not being the people that were actually driving the car, they were the owners of the car. And one thing to share with you is a lot of grandparents buy cars for their children because they can't afford them, and that's what was taking place. And they would never receive their tickets. They would always go to the old address where the car was registered at, and we put a stop to that, and along with the people with City Council, we made it civil instead of criminal. And from my last report, we're doing well. It's not a matter of how much money you make in an authority, especially in a finance authority like the parking authority is, but you can't make money off of people's human lives and locking them up in jail. So we sort of stopped that. Well, we actually did stop it, and we're moving forward, and we're just hoping that everything that we do in the future stays with it. It deals with people. The city's made with brick and mortar, but the life of the city is the blood, is the people that live in the city. Where they go, how they use our facilities, how they use the infrastructure. The libraries, I believe I always call her Madam Librarian from that movie. She's done a wonderful job. I can't remember your name. Would you say it out loud, please?
Bronwyn. Yeah.
Bronwyn, yes. She gave, when I heard her report that she made to City Council on Monday, I was just, her and the president of your organization, it was so positive that I just felt like I wanted to jump out of my chair, get up there and hug him, and say to him, boy, you got it. You figured it out, and you worked hard. And I understand from that date that we have over 20,000 people in the city of Reading that are now holding library cards, along with all the others that surround us in the suburbs, the boroughs, whatever. and all the things you're moving forward with. And I was really surprised and happy of how private enterprise is helping out. And they're helping you to meet your needs and supply books and facilities, stuff that you need, that they'll go with. We've been trying to upgrade the libraries. I know the city of Reading has been very much in favor of getting air conditioning, because some of the libraries have an antiquated system that's there. So we move forward with that. I see a lot of ministers here today, and I see Reverend Flippe back there, the other ministers that were involved with what happened in Puerto Rico that took place, and the great funding and everything that you were involved in. It's all about partnership with the people of the city of Reading to make things go. And that's how we look at it. So we took care of that. We had Bill Murray here today. There he is. Bill being the director of the Water Authority. Before I came into office, nobody liked the Water Authority. They hated it because the bills were high and everything was connected to it. Bill's done a great job of not increasing the water bills. We don't turn off water to people's private homes anymore. We do everything we possibly can to keep you in the house, even if it means, all right, you're there, we'll lean the property. But we don't want to throw families out on the street, because what has happened in the past for generations, not only do you throw them out on the street, once the house is empty, the people want the copper, want the furnaces, want the sinks and everything, they get into the houses, tear them up, and the city's got a blighted area in the city of Reading, or blighted property. So you've done well. I feel you've done great with the Water Authority, and there's still a lot more to come. You have that Birdsboro line that you're really hoping on. It'll bring the city in almost close to $1 million a year just in revenue. And when I say the city, I mean the Water Authority, but we are the city, and we all work together, including with the Parking Authority. We do have a problem with the Parking Authority. One of the biggest problems is the fact that for decades, I'll say, nobody's been fixing these garages, and the garages look terrible on the inside. These are things that you use every day. You come into the city. So we're trying to put aside enough capital and save it, and we're also trying to collect the debt from a lot of people, businesses that haven't paid us, which we're going to go looking for, trying to get. We also have a lot of contracts that are terrible contracts. They're not fair contracts. A fair contract is when you have a meeting of the minds and both people sit down and you both walk away equal. In some of these contracts that we have seen, there is no meeting. It's a meeting of the minds. It's just all geared towards certain people with certain companies or individuals. So I'm trying to change that so that the people of the city of Reading are part of it, that we do come out of it. You pay the taxes, you pay the bonds. If people don't pay their bills, you have to pay those bonds that come through to us. Prices of the cost of all the operations in the city go up and people don't pay. So right now I'm looking for, we have Tom McDougall, who's the new director of the Parking Authority. We have a past member, which is Reverend Flippe, who was on the Parking Authority here today. And we're doing our best to move ahead, save money, open contracts up. I don't know if we're necessarily going to renegotiate them. My feelings are that there should be one flat price for everybody that parks in a garage anywhere. If you get done with some of these formulas that are there, there's no way we come out on top. So we have to look at it and say it belongs to the city, it's ours, and I stand here today representing people of the city of Reading, not big business, okay? I'm out to help big business, but I'm not out for big business to help themselves to us, okay? Next on my agenda, looking at it real quick, is we have the fire department. So fire chief's here. There he is back there. All I can tell you is I see that you guys did you've done an evaluation. Your lieutenants, everybody's involved in the fact that we're trying to look for 2 new locations for 2 new fire departments that we could have in place there. We have been looking at the Penn Street site. If for some reason people don't want it in that particular area, we're not in a position where we're not negotiable to find another one. And we've been looking at the one that's out of 9th and Marion to take that one down, move it across the street, I think, and put the playground that's there over where it is now. So these new sites have the support of the community, especially the one up on Penn Street. I was up there looking forward to it. There's been no life or any work done in the 900 block of Penn Street for years. Although it is part of the DID, it's part of Main Street, which I'll explain to you what that is in a few minutes, of the downtown Reading area. So we're hoping that everybody comes on board, and for some reason, the people of the city of Reading, not the politicians, if the people of the city of Reading are against something, you know, most politicians don't really have the wisdom to solve them, okay? They just have their own personal agendas and what they want to do, who they want to be, and they get elected to serve you, but they dictate to you. So I'm interested in what you think. And we went around, did a survey, went door to door. We talked to everybody up there. They can't wait for a fire department to come. So I have to count on council to sit down, take a look at it. I know Jeff has been very instrumental in bringing council together to get our programs through. So, but if it isn't there, we'll go someplace else. We always have on here in the best interest of the people of the city of Reading. The fire department has a new fire person, right? I wouldn't say person, like pet, how's that? But they have the same credentials as the fire officer, right? There's a new fire dog named Grace that can tell how fire started, can smell for certain liquids to tell you if it was arson, or at least to tell you, you know, where the beginning point was of the fire and what takes place, and provide safety to everybody. She also at the same time goes out to schools and the people that are gamblers, talk to them, talk to the children and stuff about where we are and where we could be in the fire department, and how essential it is to make sure that if mom doesn't see things or dad doesn't see things that's wrong at home that could cause a fire, that the children themselves get involved into it. We have given out 500 IC smoke detectors last year, and we also gave away carbon monoxide decorations. Detectors. Okay, detectors for homeowners in the Reading. That's all part of positive change. So if you ever need help from the fire department's here to serve you. The water department's here to serve you. The parking authority's here to serve you. They're not here to dictate to you, and they'll listen to anything that you have to say. Okay. We have the Public Works Department for many, many years. And when I looked it up, I think it was back as far as 2004, the wastewater treatment plant just seemed to keep sitting and sitting and sitting until there was a decree that came down from the Department of Justice telling them when are you going to do something. So I got a hold of Glenn Steckman, who's the city manager. And it's Ralph here, Ralph Johnson, sorry, and Ralph Johnson, who basically is with the streets. And we found we have all this money sitting for how many years that nobody dug into to get. So we basically got a consent decree that came from the Department of Justice, and for years nobody abided by the consent decree that was there. And we were facing almost big fines you couldn't afford. That probably would be 1/4 of what the site itself, the sewer system itself would be in a position to be built for. We've met with them. I've met with them twice. We went up to Philadelphia, and Ralph went, city manager went along also, and somebody else, a couple other people, the attorney, the person that has done a lot of the work, the engineer that's on it. And we do have an engineer that's here today, who particularly works in the Public Works Department. So we have that moving, and I think we're looking at, when will that be finished?
That was by December 2019.
By December of 2019. That's my last year in public office, supposedly. Okay, hopefully. But if that comes about, we would have accomplished what nobody's done for the last, from 2004 to 2019. Okay, that place just sat, and then last year we really went through it. We set up the sewer system, the new plant, everything that's taken place, all to make provisions available in the future. What we have always tried to do is when we correct something, we correct it forever, so that another politician can't come in here and destroy it or do something to it. We do our best to make sure that any decisions that we make are not political, okay? That they're decisions that we stand for and decisions that we make that are the right decisions, not the wrong. And never, never, never have myself or anybody in my administration made a political decision. So if we're here, we're here. If we're not here, fine. While we're here, we're going to do your job, okay? I'm trying to just get into, also one of the big things with the wastewater treatment plant that we discovered was the reason the bills ran so high was always the change orders. The lowest bidder ends up being the highest, basically comes out as the highest bidder because with all the change orders that they make to the programs or the contracts that they have, they end up costing us money. So just to make it real simple, if you come in with a $10,000 bid and you're the lowest and you have change orders, really you're the highest, because as we start to do the program or do the development, it becomes $100,000. So we try to do that, we lock in the change orders, that there's not a lot of change orders to go. We put together a group in City Hall called MERC, where they basically review all contracts, all change orders, and make decisions, then bring them to myself and bring them to Glenn. And then we go from there, is this something that's valid, or is this something that belongs to the company to do, as opposed to just thinking that we're going to rubber stamp it, and you make hundreds of thousands of dollars off the people's city revenue. So that was a big move, okay? We have a new Clean City program. In that Clean City program, a lot of it was instrumental from Jeff, who's sitting here today as the president of the city council. We work with the director. We actually work with the president of council too to implement a cleanup program of all the alleys that are in the city of Reading. We try to get out to problems, especially where there's sofas and there's trash, things that bring in rats and all the other stuff that comes with it. Where you have a bad alley, you have an alley that's not clean, you have what the city of Reading already knows is, we have a drug problem. So you end up having syringes, everything that's done there. You can hide stuff in trash because nobody wants to go look into it to see what's there, okay? So we have gone in and cleaned out alleys that I think were like almost 8 foot high with trash. And there were some down a certain area of town where it was almost 15 foot. We had to work your way into the backhoe and bring the trash out to get it. With the city's trash position where we are at this time, with all the people that now are in the municipal trash, there's really no reason or rhyme or reason to people throwing stuff in the alleys or littering in our city or dumping trash where it shouldn't be, on dumping on the mountain up here that preserves everything that we have that's around us here. Because of the fact that just about everybody has a trash hauler now, even if it's a city one, and the city one's growing and growing and growing. I think just in the course of 1 year last year, we added over 5,000 people to the city trash program. These 5,000 people were just hidden someplace, but the city would be picking up their trash or they were dumping it wherever they could do it. So more and more of that program is working out, and people are becoming more obviously more aware of the surroundings. We see a lot of cameras coming up. We've caught a couple of people who have been dumping trash because neighbors had cameras, and we were able to get the people who had dumped it by the license plate numbers, the words, and you saw something, I believe 169 News about a year ago, where they actually showed people come in, open up. They were so fast, dump out mattresses, trash, everything, close the doors and take off, never realizing that neighbor was getting tired of it and had cameras up, making sure that their alley was free of drug trafficking, and only to find out here's a person, a couple of people who had cleaned their car out, but with big stuff that they dumped off there. So it does work, and these are just the little things that take place. Little by little, we are cleaning up our city. We collected last year over 1,500 tons of trash than last year, than the year before, and almost 260 more tons of recycling. So more and more people are recycling, and they're putting stuff in the containers. The administration has also gone out and bought new recycling bins that are more easy, which are stronger. They got lids on them that basically, the more people that use it, the more people that take pride in their city, the more that we have a cleaner city because the stuff doesn't blow all over the place. Recycling, the recycling rates have been lowered. They used to be $92.04. They've gone down to $69.36, which is a $22.68 savings. Okay? The cost of running government to pick up your trash also. The more people we get into the program, the more the price can come down on. In the recycling, the more people that recycle, the more tonnage that we have. If it's something that we can sell and get money, we get more money for it, which reduces the cost that you presently have to pay for the recycling. We also, in the year 2017, have done approximately 3.3 miles worth of street repaving. And as you saw, the Kenworth Boulevard is a biggie. I see we have the new councilwoman here from over in Kenhurst Boulevard area too. They had been waiting for 15 to 20 years for Kenhurst Boulevard to basically get repaid. And there used to be so many potholes that were over there, I didn't realize that the Kenhurst Boulevard would take you from Lancaster Avenue to West Reading. So there was a lot of traffic going that way. And people were always complaining about it. It obviously fell on deaf ears. But when I heard about it out campaigning, I remember the one guy said to me, "I'll vote for you only if your promise is going to be good." And I said, "What is it?" He says, "Everybody's come to our door, or any politician we ever talked to, said he was going to fix Kenhurst Boulevard, but they never did." Well, I just happened to know that Ralph lived over there, who's the director of Public Works, a guy. And I went to Ralph and I went to Glenn. I says, "Hey, we got to get Kenhurst Boulevard finished. We got to get it done, repaid, the words, push it up on the agenda," and that's what we did. And we were able to redo it over there. So when you take a smooth ride through there, everybody's saying to me now, "What about my street? What about my street?" There's so many streets in the city of Reading. But we are going to try again this year. I would say approximately doing at least 3 miles per year, setting something aside, even if I'm not here. 3 miles per year that we could do something there on the streets. We're also going to do repaving, I see, we have money set aside for pavements, if I recall right. Do you know what that is?
We have $250,000 for city paving of its curbs and sidewalks that we manage, and the paving program for $400,000. Looking at the grants program for low interest loan for residents.
I think that's very good, especially with the paving. Have you ever gone through Reading? One thing is certain, that who's ever been here long before us, they didn't plant the right trees. Because they come up out of the ground, they lift the pavements up, and then the city comes by and tells you, "When are you going to fix that?" And I go, "Wait a minute, who put them there? The trees." What average person would say that? So it was the city who planted them. They just picked the wrong trees. They didn't put them down far enough, and they put trees where the roots went out. We should have trees that were put in where the roots were going down, so that they wouldn't, look at the infrastructure that's under the piping, the gas, the electric wires that went through the sewer system to work. So what we're doing is, we will go out and cut down a tree that's protruding from the pavement, which is causing a hazard for people. They have a bill that they charge you with it, which I don't agree. We're trying to work very hard with people to get the trees down, and then we set aside money in the budget, obviously, to get out there and be able to resurface it, repave it. We like the Shade Tree Commission to the extent of that we believe that where you take a tree out, you should put a tree back. A lot of businesses take the trees down and don't want them back, and I can understand that because of the visibility of their property and the selling of the goods that they have in the property. One thing I always thought before I got, let's get to the curbs, the handicap curbs that we have out there. So far, I think we're planning to do 3 miles per year, along with we're trying to do 53 handicap curbs. It seems like we've done far more than that already. The state comes in through the American Disabilities Act to put the curbs in for the handicap, and then we have curbs that we put in, that we invest our money, the city council and the government that is basically here, so that we can make life a little easier for the people that sometimes roll by us, but we don't know, we don't see how difficult it is for them to get from one block to another. One thing I've learned is that a lot of the properties have alleyways that go through that aren't really streets that are marked, and while they're coming down, we're not putting in the handicap zones there, the handicap ramps. We've got to think about that and figure out what we are going to do, so that when you have all these old alleys that are coming through, just putting them on the corners may get them up there, but it doesn't get them out of the block. Because when they get to that alley, what do they do next? They need somebody to help them. So we're looking at that, trying to do something different there. PennDOT also has repaved 4.5 miles, and they have done 206 handicap ramps in the city of Reading. I want to tell you, there's also someone else that's helping out very good. It's an organization that's with Kevin Murphy. What's the name of that? Yeah, the Berks Community Foundation. When I was a district judge, and even after that, a lot of people can't get into their homes. So he has money that's available from people who want to give money to help out the city of Reading and help people out. And some of these ramps that you see that are homes, the electric ones that bring you up, or the ramps where you roll yourself up there, Kevin Murphy and his organization have gotten the money and have put that together and put the houses where people, anyone, can live in a home today, even those that are in a wheelchair, without somebody having to lift them and carry them to the house. So we thank them. They're good partners with the city of Reading and have been since I was their district judge. The police department, we're right now at the normal hiring mode. What does that mean? If 5 retire, we hire 10. Okay, if 10 retire, we hire 10. We're changing some things. I recall Glenn talking to me about where we send officers off to school, pay for their education, and then when it's time for them to come to the police department, they don't stay long and go someplace else. So we're making it where you have an obligation that if you come, you work in the police department, you have to stay here for a certain period of years. If you don't, we're going to collect payment for the investment we've made in you with our dollars to go there and get your become a police officer in the city of Reading. And while I'm on the police department, is the chief here? Let me show, oh, there he is. This is our new chief that came in the city of Reading. Everybody by now knows who Andreas is. Andreas, along with me, in a partnership, has put together a police academy. This police academy last year was about 25 students. It's been up and running for about a year now?
Yes.
Okay. For next year, they already have over 200 applications to join the junior police academy. There's kids that are in, children, I should say, that are in the intermediate school as well as in the high school, correct?
Yes. It's also in 8th and 9th grade.
Oh, 8th and 9th grades, okay. I saw that the 9th grades are now going to Reading High. That's a fantastic move. As a district judge, it should have probably been done a long time ago, but it took you as superintendent to bring it around, along with Chris, your assistant superintendent. When I read that in the paper, I said, wow, we're going someplace. I also see that you're considering building another school in North 9th Street, maybe, if things come about the way you might be looking for them. I don't want to, I hope I didn't say something out here that you didn't want the public to know, but I keep seeing you moving fast, going along. It's very positive. You're probably the most energetic superintendent I ever saw in my life. So, but I know anytime I've called, you've always gotten back to me, and don't have to wait long to find out if you need help from us. In the police department, we're also looking at the cameras, where we've been asking the district attorney for his help. Most of the money, unfortunately, that comes into the district attorney's office from drugs and everything comes from the city of Reading, and there's millions that are there, and we should be in a position where we should be able to tap that and get the cameras that we need in the city. You could have 1,000 police that are out on the street, police people, women too. And if someone's going to commit a crime, they're going to commit a crime. If someone's going to commit a murder, they're going to commit a murder. I remember back in my days when I was over at the orphanage, they used to tell you that the devil can't read your mind, but God can. Okay? The problem with the devil is that he listens to what comes out of your mouth. Okay? And I think that's what causes a lot of problems with people today. We have the opioid problem. We have the marijuana problem. We have fentanyl being laced with it. We have wise decisions that have been made now by city council, not reducing drug charges. So that's like saying we accept a drug, period, an electric drug, an illegal drug into the mouths of our children. We don't. And as you look around and you see what's happening in our community, it starts somewhere. And I'm very saddened, as I'm sure everybody is. I can't talk much to you about the murders that took place the other day, where 4 people have passed away. The last person has been identified, okay? The families were here the other day when there was a news conference, and you could hear the cries of their children that have become the victims at this particular point of what took place there. And some people say, what causes such an irrational act? I would say to you this, and this isn't anything from the police department. I don't know how the investigation's going, anything. But it almost seems as though it's a retaliation, where you find people that come up into a house and start shooting and killing people. unless they're coming there for a reason, and that's it. And it's a crazy reason. It seems as though there's no value to life. It's happening all around the world. People don't seem to care. They don't think about God. They don't think about where they're going, what the consequences can be. But they leave a lot of us back after they leave. And we're sad. We're wondering what happened. We're looking at victims that get hurt, families that get hurt. How many times have you heard of a young child who's in the middle of a crossfire? Okay? Or what might have been a bad deal on drugs or just gangs getting involved in taking over territories in the city of Reading. And any place else. But it's all over. And when I see ministers that are here today, it doesn't matter what faith you are. If you don't know what you want to do, you can walk into any church on a Sunday, and even on Saturdays now, Thursday nights, they have mass too at a lot of the churches. And just go in there and sit down. And it's almost like government has to also, everybody's in government. People that work in government has to be social workers today. Because they're faced with all kinds of problems when people come in. And sometimes when they're arguing with you, you say to yourself, I understand how they feel. Because they've gone through this for years and years and years, and they have a lot of problems at home. We don't know what causes people to go out and kill other people. We're saddened by it. I know that if we had enough cameras and we could put together a program like they have up in Allentown, which we're looking at this particular point, where we share the costs with them, and then they share what they pick up on the camera that will help the police department to solve crimes. And a lot of crimes have been solved because of cameras. You know, no one likes to commit a crime on camera. They basically go out, we find that a lot of times, like many bodegas, just 2 weeks ago, were robbed. People in the neighborhoods were out there robbing them. People that were on drugs were out there robbing them. They have no sense of balance. And when you talk to some of them, I remember I've gone out to most of them now too. The chief has, police has gone out to them too. I mean, where you have mothers and fathers laying on the floor, while some screwball standing there with a gun that may be on K2, something else, isn't in his right mind, and then you've got to be afraid that he's going to take you there, leave a family empty then, or have children sitting in the store that are waiting there, or going to buy, years ago you used to go to the store to buy penny candy. They still have penny candy. They still have candy for a nickel. Okay, so they can still go there and do that. So where these people are coming in and where they're going into the bodegas and they're going into the corner store, they're also going into a bakery. There was a bakery that was robbed too. Everybody seems to be able to get guns around here. And when they come in, they put the gun on you. And a lot of people say to me, well, how did they get the guns? I never bought one, so I couldn't tell you. Number one, I do have a shotgun, for many, many years. But I would say this to you, there's no need or necessity to have one if you're a law-abiding citizen. But times are changing where you need to have one as a law-abiding citizen because the people who are committing the crimes have them, and how do you defend yourself? So the scale's going both ways at this particular point as far as I'm concerned. But we're doing our best to try to get the cameras. We're going to talk with Allentown and find out exactly where the programs are. We are going to reach out to private industry to help out, because the people that work in Reading basically work in these private industries, and we want everybody to get to work, but most important, get home, and get home safe. So we're looking at that, looking into a camera program. The police department, with the students that they have, are teaching in that program community service. They're showing how important community service is. Teamwork. The chief is very adamant about discipline. He also teaches them that when you do something as a child, it goes with you through life. And we can only know whether you've been rehabilitated from it or done something to change your life by the way that you approach your chief, or the way you approach the police department, or how well you're living your life now, or how well you've been with your minister talking and looking for things that you can do that are positive in the city of Reading. Like I said, they got over 200 interested students in the program coming up next year. We are also putting on, in addition, a community response coordinator position, which has been instituted to establish better communications with community groups, religious groups, and other organizations in the city of Reading. That person, whoever gets it, is going to be a public servant He's not there to dictate to you what you should do. He should be there because of the fact he wants to know what are you doing and how can we help you to do a little better. I still say cameras are the things to do. Community development, and well, the police department's also getting, if I recall right, 2 motorcycles, Harley Davidson. So when you hear all those loud bikes that are outside before going down through your neighborhood to work, you'll know when the police are there because you're loud, okay? And right now, people are driving around on these bikes, they don't have driver's licenses. They're out with like packs of dogs, driving someplace, and they have the ones that don't have the license plates or anything on in the middle. And then they take off, go down back streets, alleys, police can't catch them. You're not gonna get out and run down, we're not gonna shoot a car down where it's half debris, and we're doing the best we possibly can to clean the alleys, where now a motorcycle police officer can go through there. And hopefully we'll start to put a stop to it. We also understand that a lot of people are just joyriding, and that is like a recreation tool. Not everybody's bad. They're just not thinking wisely about what they're doing, okay? The CD office has now become almost like our main resource center for businesses and homeowners. You can go in and apply for grants, you can go in and apply for loans, and we can do facades of buildings, we do the roofs of buildings, improvements of the sidewalks. A lot of it's coming through CD now. The office continuously, the people that are running the office now are there to help you and serve you, and we're doing our best to make sure there's money left over to help you, okay? Years ago, it was just the same old people getting the same old money out of this town, the tax credits. And, you know, I like the governor. I think the governor's a great guy, and I think he tries very hard. But I think when we give out these tax credits and we give out these, what's the name of the cap monies? What they do now? RCAP money. We actually have to make sure we're putting out to people who really need it. You know, the wealthy can get the RCAPs because they're out there getting it. They're applying for it. They're getting they're getting the tax credits. They're getting the big checks when they need to go out and do something. But they already got the money. We should be helping the little guy. We should be helping the people that need to fix their stores up. We should be helping the little guy who wants to go into business. When they come in, they say they're going to employ this many people, and this is why we should have it. For years, nothing was ever followed up. It's on day one. If you have 250 people that you're planning on doing, you try to have that, and then all of a sudden it seems to complete itself. People aren't there anymore. The businesses, we have some businesses that are in default of their loans right now, and rather than talk to us, they just decide they don't want to pay. So we're basically looking at that. We're trying to collect for you, if I had to estimate it, it's a couple $1 million in monies that's outstanding out there. And if these people don't pay it, it comes back on the people that sit ready, and we have to pay it for them. Something to keep in mind. Being transparent, we gave you all the figures we had. I don't know what it would add up to, but I know that it's high. Business is not as usual for all the decades or all the past administrations that have been here with the mayor's office and this administration. I changed a lot of people. I have good people that I brought on board, people that know the job before they get here. So that the ones that are here, if they're not doing it right, can get real quick learning how to do it quickly. Because the person that's in charge, which Glenn has been very good at that, I haven't found one department yet that he doesn't understand or know. Okay? So when he comes in and we don't have directors that sit down and say, oh, no, he wants to see it. He knows what he's looking for. He knows what the report should be, what should be audited, the works, and they get a wake-up call. That work. We set aside $2.3 million for the parks in the city of Reading with the help of City Council. We're going to be redoing a lot of parks, pardon me, next year. Give you one, just for instance, when you get out to 11th and Pike. I mean, the way that fence is out there, that's just waiting for some child to get hurt. They're all bent out of shape, big gouges that can get into children. It's just bad. So we're looking at putting some sort of a wrought iron fence around it, or something that won't be as damaged as what we have at this particular time. We're also looking to do our best to reduce zoning fees. The ministers, when I ran for public office, one of my biggest outrages was the fact that churches, when they wanted to go to zoning to become a church, they had to pay $1,000 to see if they are allowed to have God's house in a community, which makes absolutely no sense. But I think all the, right now, the zoning fees that we pay, which are $1,000, should be reduced. It should be a graduated fee depending on what you're applying for in zoning to meet your needs. You can't want to put up a hot dog cart on the property or on a corner and pay $1,000 to see if you can do it. And if you lose out on it, that was a great investment in the cart itself and trying to do a small business there. So hopefully we'll be able to put together structured payment, that structured bills on how you basically would be charged for what you're doing, and then present it to the city council. But it is something that all of us have been looking at, on council as well as in the city. Sometimes we get so many distractions, there's so much going on in our town, that we can't get back right away to what we've discussed before. The Department of Community Development and Economic Development, Secretary Davin has been in contact with us personally. We're working well with him for community funds and stuff that would come into the city of Reading. We're looking at a couple of projects, and we're looking at some things that the city of Reading needs money for to purchase. We're still looking at the post office down there, hoping it becomes a reality, that we have more security downtown, that we would end up putting the Parking Authority Administration building. Go out and see Bill about the water department where people can pay bills there, and different things that we're trying to do. So we're working on that. We're hoping that there's funding coming through for it. We're also looking for funding from the Secretary Devon on any projects that we might have coming up. We're looking for grant writers, better grant writers than we have now, that'll keep in touch with what is the building. We just realized, like what we knew before, the RCAP applications need to go out now. It's starting, so we're making sure we're in that. Okay, we're working with different organizations that we're hoping have the same views as we do as the people of City of Reading. One being the Chamber of Commerce. We basically are the director of the Chamber of Commerce. Pierce, I remember Mr. Pierce, Raymond Pierce, and they're getting involved with. There's DID, which is Downtown Improvement District. And there's also Main Street that we're looking at. DID basically is the cleanup, security, whatever takes place, and keeping downtown Reading to look good. Main Street will be set up for what are we looking for, what kind of businesses do you want to attract, but it has to be what the people of the city of Reading want to do. Okay? We're trying to make sure that the people that are on Main Street have our viewpoints, have our ideas of what we would like. I always felt people I stole from Franklin Practice. I was born here, raised here, reared here, and I'll die here. Okay, so I think that I have an investment in the city. That my ideas should be as good as those who are outside the city, telling us what they would like inside the city. So I've agreed to go along with their program on Main Street. I'm hoping that they come up with great ideas. I'm not looking for anything that takes 12 years to do, and the guys that are developing and making the fortune, and the actual cost of the project is a lot more cheaper. So we're looking at that. I think we can have a good working relationship. We just have to be on each other's side, knowing that we don't represent what my idea is. We represent who we represent, which is basically the people of the city. The same as the Chamber does business and for all the businesses that are downtown there. And I'm very happy with Christmas down there. Hope you like the snowflakes. I hope you like the, on Penn Street, I hope you like the snowman. We just added 4 more feet last year to the tree. We've already ordered the other 40 more feet that are coming now. I'm going to get to something that Jeff and I both basically would love to see downtown, sure. So we're doing everything we can. We're trying to make downtown Reading look appealing to people coming in. But you know what? We also care about your street, people of City of Reading. We care about your stores, your small businesses you build, because as you'll find, a lot of businesses that come here, they don't pay taxes. No property taxes, you pay. You make sure that you hold this city together. And that's what we want to address and what we're hoping to do in the year 2018 where we are now, where we invest more money into our neighborhoods. And we do as much as we can possibly to help you out, give you small grants, give you small loans. I forget what they are, 108s and micro loans and stuff that might be, we might be able to regenerate and bring back to life that will help stores. The main stores that are in the city, obviously bodegas, notary shops, barber shops are all over the place. And everybody's doing business. We're surviving. And you don't need millions to survive, do you? You just have to make a decent income, a little bit more, of a profit so you can go on vacation and enjoy the world you live in. So that's where we're at. I would like to say this though, if I may. A lot of people keep calling into our office about the murders that took place. I'm going to ask that no elected officials go down there because of the fact that we haven't caught who they are yet that have done it. They may live in the neighborhood. You may be talking to a murderer, and don't put yourself in harm's way. And wait until it's done, and then you can get together with everybody in there. You don't want to bring a killer to a public meeting. I know you were asking me. And I think you really got to think about it. Say, but if we have the crime solved, if we caught the people that were killing the people, yes, sit down, sympathize, find out how we can do things better. But you can't put yourself in harm's way. Sit down, bring good people in, and you may bring somebody in that was one of the guys that committed the murder. Okay? So we would appreciate if you would just not do that, but to do it sometime in the future. We're hoping to have the crime solved. It's going to take a little bit of time. The chief, he tries to keep me updated. I say, please don't tell me. I'm so transparent. I might tell somebody else, okay, or bring it up at a meeting. So we're doing that. I hope that you saw that our last audit report here in the city of Reading was very good. The administration has looked at everything that was a problem in the past. A lot of the administrations never took what Herbine had basically told them you should be doing and just let it sit on the side. Never corrected any of the problems. Our administration with Glenn also, directing everybody, we wanted to make sure that the problems of the past were corrected. So when the order came through this time, that we've done everything they had asked us to do 20 years ago that have been done now. And every report, if you have an auditor, they're going to tell you what's wrong, then we should be correcting what they tell us is wrong. Okay? We have a balanced budget. I'm trying to figure out exactly how many millions of dollars we have to let it go at that and hope that something comes about. A lot of people are asking me about Act 47. I can tell you right now with this administration, I'm sure Jeff could tell you too, we probably could walk out next week, any day. But right now, we want to, when we leave it, we want to make sure we're not coming back into it. So we need time. We have to put together monies. We have to save where we can save. We have to collect those debts that are owed to us. So that when we get out of Act 47, we're not out for a year and then jumping right back into it. We want to come out, we want to be solvent. When we do that, it's like making change forever, so that you stay positive, not negative. We've saved already, I think, $13 million this year, was it? 12 million? 12 million this year, refinancing bonds, collecting monies that have been owed, and it's very positive, everything that's taking place here. I did forget to tell you that the Reading Public Libraries had 285,500 visitors in the year 2017. That's a lot of people coming into Reading. So, I also have to tell you that the Reading Public Library is available online all day, 24 hours, 7 days a week. So if there's anything that you'd like to, that you want to look up, you can go online now and get all the information that's there to help you start a business, solve a problem, look at where grant monies are available, how to go about going for monies that are with government. Okay? My Monday morning meetings. I remember when I campaigned, I said I was going to put the mayor's office on the first floor. So I was the first person you saw, and the last person you saw when you left. When you came in, well, that would cost a fortune. So what I've done is I've occupied an office. It's at the end of the hall down here. I mean, on the first floor. And we average about 42 to 50 people that come in on that morning. Sometimes I'm in there at 2 o'clock. I could tell you in the last 2 years, we've had thousands of visitors that came in. People come in and talk about their families. They talk about a problem they might have at home with their kids. Drugs in the neighborhood. They might talk about the parking problems. Everybody talks about that. We're finding that even people that get handicap permits are having problems now. People who live 2 blocks away to have a handicap plate are now parking in handicap spots that are in other blocks, and then getting themselves out of there back to their house because there's only so many that we can do. I think, did we put a lid on that? Is that 4 in a block? Ralph? The handicap spots. Is that 4 in a block? Is that the lid we put on it? Or If there's 5 in that box,
It's no good, the law says if somebody is qualified to get a handicap space, then they get it.
well, we have a lot coming into this. And we have a lot of people that are looking to get it, and we're working hard to work with them. But council has a task ahead of them, so has the administration, in figuring out how we do neighborhood parking. And we got to raise money to do something like that. And I know that the parking authority, through Ralph's help, if I'm correct, we found somebody, or we know somebody that basically can do a feasibility study on what might be something we can do in the city of Reading that would work, as opposed to everybody fighting to park someplace. And most of the people that park at fire hydrants, they're coming home from work at 3 o'clock in the morning. They're afraid to walk park blocks. They're parking there, but we still have to cite them. Because if there's a fire, they're causing a hazard, they're causing danger to the whole community, okay? So we are looking at it. This year, that might be one of the toughest challenges, figuring out what we can do to provide more parking in a neighborhood, which I think would be very beneficial to us all. We do have schools just about all over the city already, and I know they have playgrounds and parking lots. And at the one meeting, I said, well, why couldn't we go in cooperation with you with little tiers where neighbors, after school is closed, can park there. So it's something to look at. We also have one more item on here about the safety zones going home, and working with the school district to get cameras for those zones so children feel more at ease going a certain path, the safety zone, to get home, that there are cameras there watching, and there's a police presence too. I talked to you about Christmas. I didn't talk to you about Halloween. Halloween was great again this year. I don't know how many tons of candy we've gone through, but more and more families are coming. More parents are bringing them because it is a good safety zone. Something look here real quick. Or we fine-tune the staff that we have here. We try to pick the best people that were here. We tried to train them even more. Our code services department, our trades department, we know there's personality clashes and people, it's hard to teach people how to be kind to other people. It's hard for people coming in to know that we're here to help them, not to hurt them, okay? As soon as somebody receives a fine in the mail for a property, the first thing they want to do is go marching downstairs, and they always end up marching upstairs. We come in on Monday mornings, and we do our best to try and correct the problems that are there. Little by little, the government is becoming more and more receptive to serving you instead of ruling you, okay? My office rules nobody. We do everything we possibly can to help you if you come in. I don't think I missed anything. If I did, I guess one of the things I'd like to say to you is that I listened to the president last night. Whether I agree with a lot of things that he does in his lifetime, I thought that was a very interesting, a lot of the comments that were made. Because some of the things that he talks about in the country and in the nation is really at our back door. And we have to be doing everything that we can. We have problems, people without passports, without that are here, that are dreamers, that are part of that program. We should be doing everything we can to possibly help them. When people have grown up and lived their whole life here, they are Americans, whether we like it or don't. I never was in favor, I was listening to him, I'm never in favor of a wall, because the wall just seems to me like we're asking for trouble. When we build something like that, we should be doing our best. We should go down there and shake up the Mexican border that's coming over here and stop, a good group of people. But we should try to make Mexico a lot bigger, greater, more where you don't have a definite rich and a definite poor, and there's no middle class. The poor can see the rich, so you always have anarchy, stuff that takes place. And even though it's a sovereignty, I can still remember last year when one of the Supreme Court justices was shot down on the street. Nobody ever saw it, and the street was packed. They showed how many people were out there, and that is one of the biggest markers on how cartel, how the drugs, everything comes here from South America up through into Mexico and across the border. I don't know what to say, but when I was listening last night, I was saying to myself, you build this huge wall, okay? And if you have 1 million people that decide they want to come through, America is not a country filled with burdens. We are still a country where we reach out, we want to help. So we should be looking more at their government, what the government is doing, why people are leaving there. It's not just because they want jobs, it's because of the fact that there's killings over there, there's cartel over there, there's drugs over there. There's a lot of things taking place, even though it looks like a democracy, it doesn't act like it, okay? So we're faced with it here. We have good people from our own country that are now coming to Puerto Rico. All the people that are moving here that aren't moving back. And a lot of times people forget that Puerto Rico is America. It is a territory of the United States. And it is something we all have to look at and reach out and embrace. If we would help Pennsylvania, we'd help Texas, we'd help California. Puerto Rico is America. And you have to look at it like that. And welcome them here. We're getting a lot for time. We have a large Puerto Rican community here. We have a large Latino community. I think we're somewhere around about 60-63%. We have to reach out and do as much as we possibly can. Now, I don't have all the answers, okay? But I just will say this to you before I end up. I'm as human as you are. I'm a human being. There's so much that I can do. There's a lot of things that I would like to see change in this world, but I can't change people. We can't change buildings and expect that we've got growth. That's not economic development. We have to figure out a way to change people's minds and the way they think. That's the greatest economic development we could possibly do. And what we're looking at, our assets, are the people of the city of Reading and Berks County. So if there's a way that we can all get together and work as a group and show you that I'm willing to work with you, I would just ask you to come see me if there's anything that you need and anything that I can help you do, okay? We don't have a question and answer session with something like this, but I just want to tell you, I hope next year we've moved ahead even farther. We've got a lot of these contracts cleaned up that are in favor of the city and aren't fair, and we're collecting more money, and we're getting people that get the tax exemptions and are able to go on and survive while we're all starving. Maybe they want to donate help and participate, maybe give a portion of the tax to us. So we're going to be reaching out for that. We're not doing it to embarrass anybody. We're doing it because we need the money. And we're still sitting back trying to get out of where we are. And we want to lift not only businesses, but we want to lift the people that live here, work here, raise their families here. So I thank you very much for sitting for this long period of time.